So I'm taking the van on a 3-day road trip up to Cape Breton, and it's a long weekend here in Canada, so I thought I'd take advantage of that. I've got my brand new R5, which has not taken a single shot at this point, so hopefully we can get something this weekend. Kind of excited to get this out and give it a go.
So when Simon rang this morning, I was like, yeah!
Darling.
A bit of light interlude.
So I found myself in a completely different spot than I was originally looking for. The waterfalls I wanted, or I was shooting for, were in the woods. And when I got there, it was pretty much bone dry, so I decided to move on. I knew about 15 minutes up the road there was a provincial park with a falls, a bit of a falls and a bit of a stream leading out into the ocean. So I came here, and I think it's actually turned out pretty good. So what we've got here is a pretty nice cascade leading to a fairly nice splash at the bottom there. I really do like the green moss on the right hand side, and this stream leads off and ultimately ends up out in the ocean. So I've probably only got about 20 minutes before I have to leave due to the tide coming in, so I need to be pretty quick here. So the shot that I'm going for is to slightly cut off just above the falls where that V is. I really don't want any of that mess in the background, and I definitely don't want that really blown out, detail-less sky in the shot at all. And then I'm going to come down, I'm going to grab the main falls and the splash. I'm also going to grab the moss on the right-hand side. But what I also really liked were these 2 or 3 big rocks leading into the pool here, and then also this fallen log carrying off from the center off to the right-hand side. What I'm going to have to do in a shot like this is set my camera settings so that I get the best quality image I can of everything that's stationary. And in this lens, it could be an f8, f11, ISO 100. And then obviously the shutter speed can be whatever it wants to be to give me that really crisp image. And I'll probably end up focus stacking as well, because I want these images or these rocks in the foreground to be very, very tack sharp, and also want the moss in the distance as well. But when it comes to the water itself, both this waterfall here, as well as the trickle coming over here, I'm not too concerned about picture quality as such, because that water is going to have a little bit of blur to it anyway. Really what I can do is I can increase my aperture to f20, f22, and I'm really not too concerned about things like diffraction or overall image quality when it comes to the water itself. And then I can really play around with those shutter speeds to get the texture, the smoothness, the detail I want, without end up having really, really overblown, really silky smooth, no detail water. So that allows me to have that flexibility. And then obviously in Photoshop, what I'll do is I'll blend this water and this water down here with obviously the nice tack sharp images of these rocks. I'm on the second day of my trip up here to Cape Breton. Thankfully the Delica made it, so hopefully it makes it home. And found myself at a stream and a waterfall here. So I'll show you what I'm looking at. We've got this big falls coming in on the right hand side, and we've got a smaller one coming in off of the left. But I'm really going to focus my attention on the one on the right hand side. I also really like this mass of green moss going up this bank, and a couple of these trees coming out into the scene. And then as we come down these falls here, we've got a nice piece of driftwood laying right in the scene, and then further down we've got a nice big rock. So what I've done with this image is I put the big rock down here as a real anchor point. What I really like is the way that this green moss is really dominant in the image and comes in from the right hand side at an angle and leads our eye into this very, very pretty waterfall. And then as that waterfall trickles or runs down, we've got this secondary falls here, which I think is a nice exit point in that bottom right hand corner of this image. I will do the same trick as before. I will take the image for the stationary components at the best aperture that I can, regardless of shutter speed, and then I'll play around with the aperture and the shutter speed to get the detail in the falls, just like we did on the previous one. But what I am going to do is pay somewhat attention to this top left hand corner. It's very bright up there, so what I will do is when I do the shot that gives me my stationary image or my stationary shot, I will also turn the exposure down on that one on that top left hand corner, so we don't get too much of a bright spot up there.
The morning of day 2 started off as a wet and misty one, which was ideal for the fall shot you just saw, but our goal today was for something more than falls. On the west side of the island, the forecast was calling for a mix in sun and cloud for the afternoon and hopefully into sunset. So we decided to head over to an old abandoned gypsum mine in hopes to catch a decent sunset. Once we'd risked our lives and camera gear scrambling to the top of this cliff, I realised I'd left my video camera in the van. Using my cell phone, I was able to grab this footage of my brand new R5 precariously perched atop a cliff with my tripod playing tripod yoga. I think photographers put far too much faith, or is it hope and a prayer, in our tripods. Unfortunately, the sun and clouds were not on our side for a burning red sunset, but I was able to catch this shot before the sun disappeared behind the evening clouds. I'm excited to get back here in the fall for the full colours against this amazing white and blue backdrop. Hope you like the shot. With one more day left to go in my van trip and weather forecast looking unpredictable, do we take the long drive north? Will it rain? Will the Delica make the 7-hour drive home? Be sure to catch the next instalment of this adventure and to see what is probably one of my favourite images ever captured. Thanks for watching.